What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room. And this is where we at now. So we're going to talk about the the legal that's been the superintendent in Ohio school for the longest here. This is crazy. This is crazy. You know, how do you not know that this individual is here, has been here illegally? You know what I'm saying? From everything that I've gathered so far and, information that I've learned, he's been here since like the 90s, late 90s and stuff like that. And his visa was over with, decades ago. So like, how has he been able to, have jobs throughout all these 20 past years, things like that, get into the system, social security numbers, get tax, taxes taken out of his paycheck. This is crazy right here. So we're going to dive off into this. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
Well, on to this. This is hard to believe. Des Moines School's superintendent arrested by ICE. ICE announcing Friday that Ian Andre Roberts is, quote, a criminal illegal alien from Ghana in possession of a loaded handgun, $3,000 in cash, and a fixed blade hunting knife. At the time of his arrest, Roberts was working as the superintendent of Des Moines Public Schools, despite being an illegal alien with a final order of removal and no work authorization. Roberts has existing weapons possession charges from February 5th, 2020, and was given a final order of removal by an immigration judge in May of 2024. Absolutely stunning. Former acting DHS Secretary Chad Wolf joins me now. Chad, you and I worked together when I was in the White House. Yeah. It is shocking to me that someone in charge of our school district, the largest school district in Iowa, had a final removal order. How does that happen? I don't think it would have happened under your tenure.
Well, it's a great question. Obviously, the school district did not do their due diligence. He has a criminal record as well. So clearly they didn't do any type of background investigation. The amazing part here is he has no work authorization. So when they enter this individual's information into their system in order to get paid, to pay taxes and the like, all sorts of red flags should have been prompted there. So I think it'll be interesting to see what they say, to see how this individual, did he use an alias? How did this come about? And I think it begged the further question of the amount of illegal aliens that are here in the United States working in everyday jobs and the like. And some of them, like this individual who has a possession charge, has other criminal acts on their record. And to be so close to school children, right, to be part of the education system there in Des Moines is really troubling.
I mean,
now, before they keep going, I find that egregious too. How was he able to, get into the financial system of society? We have social security numbers, background checks, banking. The banking system is on high alert, has been since 9/11. It's no way around you escaping these situations. And then also too, we're still dealing with the situation where they're catching up with people for PPP loans out here.
So what the French toast is there to
So I'm confused. I'm really confused how this guy right here got around the system and got paid consistently for all these years that he's been here. This is wild, bro.
And I look at these pictures and I see kids and I think that could have been my kid. And this guy had a criminal charge. Do you think, and again, I know I'm asking you to speculate here, did they just not input his name into the system? How often does this happen? I mean, there are measures in place. I mean, it seems like it'd have to take a whole lot of looking the other way to not find this.
Yeah, you would think.
I think so. Look, the school system there, just like any other employer around the country, has an obligation to make sure that everyone that they're hiring is here in the United States legally, has the ability to work legally. So if they're not a U.S. citizen, then they have some type of work authorization provided by the federal government. In this case, the Department of Homeland Security. He didn't have any of this. And so the question is, did he provide a fraudulent social security number and was operating as someone else? And if not, I think there's a lot of questions that school system has to answer. And the question is, are there others there as well?
Yeah, Secretary Wolf, that's a great question. And back to our top story of the day, because I want viewers to understand, you were at DHS, Department of Homeland Security. Underneath that is U.S. Secret Service, who found this vast network of servers. Matt McCoy.
Okay, so I think they're going off into something else, but we got the logistics of what I need to get, you know what I'm saying, from the first segment, you know what I'm saying, things like that. It's no way that this man was supposed to be able to, you know, get around the system like this. It's no way. Like, you know, social security numbers, all the, you know, just the government tracking, you know, it's natural born citizens of this country. We're able to be found very fast. So I don't understand how he escaped all this stuff for this long. Like, listen, look, so let's go here now. I'm guessing this is the protest here. Let's go. See, I don't agree with none of this crap right here. You're not supposed to sit around here and try to protest for somebody that's illegal in your country, that's not abiding by the laws. We have a situation here in America, seems like, to where we have a certain segment of people that are okay with people breaking the laws. And, you know, I don't understand that. I can't grasp that idea, because it's foolish to me that, you know what I'm saying, when I did things and stuff like that, and I had to atone for my crimes or whatever it was and things like that, I did what I was supposed to do as a grown-ass man and made sure that I atoned and stuff like that, and, you know, abide by the laws of the land. You know, and, you know, any solid man would, if he does anything, you know, it could be as simple as, you know, running a fucking red light or something, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to, you know, you have to atone for your crimes. I mean, Jesus Christ, yeah, it's still a crime to run a red light. Like, come on now. It just is what it is. This is crazy to me that we have a segment of people in society today that are sitting around here, you know what I'm saying, acting like it's okay to, you know, be here illegally and not, you know, obey the rules of the land and stuff like that. But then, no, too, when it comes down to them, if they do something crazy, then, you know, it's like we can't keep living like this. We can't keep living like this. For real, though.
Revoking his license and saying he does not have authority as a superintendent any longer once they've been now informed of his legal status. Now, ICE tells Fox Roberts is an undocumented immigrant from Guyana. DHS saying he last came to the U.S. on a student visa in 1999, but wasn't authorized to work after his employment card expired in 2020. ICE officials also saying an immigration judge gave Roberts a final order of removal back in May of 2024. Federal agents say Robert tried to speed away after they were attempting to take him into custody back on Friday. They say he ditched his district-owned car near a wooded area. They did eventually arrest him, and inside his car, DHS found a loaded gun, a knife, and $3,000 cash, they tell us. The Des Moines Public School Board chair said they didn't know of any immigration issues Dr. Roberts may have had, and when he was hired, the Iowa State Board of Education says he signed a form confirming he was a U.S. citizen. The board chair, Jackie Norris, she's inside right now, in this last couple of days, quoted Roberts' book, asking the community for, quote, radical empathy as they figure everything out.
Yeah. You know, and it's nothing to figure out. Dude, you're here illegally. Your visa's up. You're supposed to go home. And you're supposed to not have yourself in a position to where, you know, how did he get into a position to where he's the superintendent of a whole school system, you know, like this? Like, how is this possible? When, you know, most people over here, when the situation is happening that, you know, most people that actually grew up over here could barely get those jobs, even if they are qualified and don't have criminal records.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
This is crazy. How was he able to get this? how was he able to maneuver through society for so long like this? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, just, man, Jesus, bro. And we supposed to respect this shit. Excuse me. We're supposed to respect this shit and make sure that we, you know, protect people that are here illegally and stuff like that, when we don't even allow our own citizens to get away with a bunch of illegal shit. That's the mind frame I'm in, and I can't stand it. You know what I'm saying? That we've come to this point here in America. Let's keep going.
I'd like to welcome in now immigration attorney Renata Castro. Renata, great to see you. Thanks for your time. So this is obviously a developing story. New information continues to come out. I do want to talk about some of the things that Rich just touched on. But first, I mean, ICE officials say he is in the country illegally. He had no work authorization. He was subject to this final removal order issued last year. What is your reaction, first of all, just to his arrest?
I am surprised that they have, for lack of a better expression, nitpicked an individual who is high profile. This kind of reminds me when 21 Savage, the famous rapper, was detained in Atlanta during Trump's first term. This is a very big case that will gain a lot of notoriety nationwide, showing how immigration verification or verification of employment authorization, even by government officials, can be really faulty. And I think that this is a situation that this gentleman finds himself in.
All right, so moments ago, we did hear from his lawyer giving the public an update. I'd like to listen to some more of that.
We will today be sending a letter to the Des Moines School Board, authorized by Dr. Roberts, to resign his position as a superintendent of Des Moines Public Schools. That is going to go out. It's been authorized. It's not sent out. You're going to get a copy of that letter. You also will get a copy of the letter from Texas saying that everything was okay. His case was resolved successfully in April of 2025.
Okay, Renata. So that second letter he referenced there, the letter from Texas saying that everything was okay. He didn't really provide a lot of details there. Would that be enough proof to potentially keep Roberts here?
I understand the predicament my colleague is in because he's defense counsel, but you can have someone who has a removal order who is still eligible to work. This attorney is probably referencing a dismissal or termination order from his deportation case. However, I find it very unlikely that if this gentleman was a U.S. citizen, he would be resigning from his position. As a practicing immigration attorney in this specific scenario, I am mostly concerned with the fact that he may have created a situation where he alleged he was a U.S. citizen, because that's an easier way to bypass requirements for showing employment authorization. And now he may have committed a violation that would render him permanently inadmissible to the United States, which is to represent himself as a U.S. citizen. As I said, because he is signing a letter saying that he is abdicating from his position, or he's giving up his job with the school board, I find it very unlikely that he is a U.S. citizen. However, we have to give him the opportunity and fairness of due process so that he can present all the evidence in this case, either favorable or not, so that we can make final decisions in what really happened. But it is a case that highlights how inefficient immigration processes can be.
And you really bring up.
Listen, look, shout out to that. Yeah. And I definitely agree with that. You know, and this is where we at right here. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, he slipped through the cracks. The information was not, you know, obtained the proper way through whatever. And like, you know, the lawyer just said there, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, you know, he used the status of being a legal citizen here to kind of negate the facts that people may not look as deep and things like that into his background, because he, you know, proclaimed to be a U.S. citizen. And, you know, but still, though, you know, I don't get it, because in some of these jobs or careers or whatever, you know what I'm saying? You know, definitely if you're a natural born citizen of America, they're going to look through your whole background period. So I don't understand how that's going down. I really don't. So let's go here now and see about, you know what I'm saying, a little bit more what the lawyer had to say and other things.
Well, for the first time, we are hearing from Roberts' attorney. He claims Roberts was under the impression that his immigration case had successfully closed. He says he was led to believe that based on a letter he received from his former immigration attorney just 6 months ago. Local 5's Alex Fulton is in studio after attending a press conference with Roberts' lawyer. Alex, what were the major developments that he told you and other reporters?
Well, Stephanie, Dr. Ian Roberts' attorney today confirmed his client was born in Guyana, but stopped short of saying if he is a U.S. citizen or had ever applied to become one. He emphasized that this case is complicated and there's only so much he can share right now as he works to gather more information.
We have not stopped working on this case since Friday at about 3 o'clock.
Des Moines attorney Alfredo Parrish is representing Dr. Ian Roberts, who resigned from his position as DMPS superintendent.
This is a case that's been juggling through the system for a number of years.
On March 27th, 2025, Roberts allegedly received an email from his then immigration attorney, Jacqueline Gonzalez, based out of Pasadena, Texas. It had the subject line, "Closure of immigration case," and the body stated, quote, "I am pleased to report that your case has reached a successful resolution." This would have been almost a year after Roberts received his final order of removal for May 2024.
Okay, so what was set resolution that they had come to? You know, and we need to find that out, you know what I'm saying, whether they came to the resolution where he could stay or where he has to go. But apparently what was said, you know, previously here in the broadcast that, you know what I'm saying, they came that at some point the decision was made that he was, you know, to basically leave the United States, that he was no longer, his visa was, you know, pretty much over with. So what are we talking about here?
When the case was reopened, you'll see that that date was May of 2024. So the question then becomes, you know, what existed before that time? So that's what we're in the process of trying to dig through.
I asked Parrish why he believes ICE agents waited over a year after his final order of removal to detain Roberts.
We don't know. It can go from day to day. As you've seen by watching the news reports, people can leave very quickly, or they could be here for some time.
In Omaha Immigration Court, Parrish and his legal team did file a motion to stay for Roberts, and they plan to file a motion to reopen his case.
This is a very complex case. It's complex, it's difficult, and there are a lot of what I would call a myriad of issues that are involved.
Parrish wouldn't answer if Roberts was authorized to work in the U.S. and when he came to the country. ICE officials claim he entered the U.S. on a student visa in 1999, but records show he graduated from Copen State University in Baltimore in 1998.
There are a lot of inconsistencies in contracting stuff. That's why we're trying to get access to the file so we'll have a better understanding of what that is.
Now, we reached out to the law office of Jacqueline Gonzalez, Roberts' previous immigration attorney. A secretary told us they're not authorized to speak on this case. Parrish, Roberts' current attorney, said there will be another press conference at a later date, but it's unclear when that will be.
Okay, so, you know, this is where we are here, people. And, you know, apparently, you know, technically what it boils down to here is that, you know, this guy here he's here illegally. All his paperwork is not in order. He's already been ordered to deport, you know what I'm saying, last year sometime and things like that. And it just is what it is here, you know, for these people. And, you know, I guarantee you there's probably other, you know, immigrants or illegal stuff out there that are in, you know, certain positions and stuff like that here in this country, because, you know, this has been an ongoing situation for quite some time. You know, that these people have been here and stuff, and definitely with what happened under the Biden administration with flooding the country like that, and they're here now, and we don't tell them what jobs they have or who they are, stuff like that. This is crazy out here, man. And you know, slowly but surely they're finding who they need to find, but this is just the facts. You know, nobody could go to anybody else's country and stay there illegally for long periods of time. Other countries have very strict rules on their borders and stuff like that, and they enforce them whether they be third world countries or not. And we're the only country right now that's being laughed at by the rest of the world for the way that we're doing things over here now, because we're too relaxed, we're too buffoonish, and we're stupid, and we're not doing the things that we're supposed to have in the Constitution, and we're also not abiding by the rules that we set in place for our natural born citizens, but then for outside citizens, excuse me, but we try to enforce these laws for natural born citizens. This is crazy out here.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
This is crazy, but this is where we at. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.